Hey guys, John Hendricks here for Boot Crew Media coming at you with another episode of The Drive presented by Royal Honda in Metairie. We're at week one of the season. Whether you know it or not, all the training camp, the preseason stuff, everything is gone. We got NFL week one action coming at us starting on Thursday. You got the Bills taking on the Rams. That's going to be a huge game, right? So that's going to only be more exciting as the week goes on. Obviously, we got some college football that we had got exposed to on Thursday. More coming. You got LSU, Florida State if you're a big LSU guy. There's a lot of football coming, and it's going to be refreshing to see that every Sunday from here on out is going to be dominated by football, right? If you're a football fan, obviously, and that's why you're tuning to this channel, right? For the Saints, I think here's some of the biggest questions that we have going into week one of the season against Atlanta. We've seen a lot. We've said a lot. We've talked a lot. Now it's put up or shut up, right? Now Atlanta comes in here. They're not the strongest of teams right now, right? Terry Fontenot, I think, is still in this rebuild type of phase. On paper, their roster just doesn't really add up. It is the Falcons, though. They are a rival. The Saints have typically had some trouble in the past, more so at home, not necessarily on the road against them. But, you're opening up the Pandora's box where you start the season with 3 straight NFC South opponents. So you want to be off to a good start here. And, what do you get out of Marcus Mariota? That's something to watch. And I think for the Saints, it's how do you put your best foot forward? And of course, this is kind of like week one. You're not expecting to see what this team would be like in week 17, week 18 of the season, right? You want to be playing your best football when you start hitting December, right? Because that's the hopes that you're in the wild card playoff hunt and that you can get into December, January to play your best football when it comes time to when games really matter. So, look, I think the Saints are obviously going to be favored in this one. If you're a sports bettor, we've always talked about the whole over-under for this team. I think it's at 8.5, 9 wins. Take the over. This team is going to be a lot better, even with all the stuff that's going on right now. It'll be a lot better than a lot of people think. This division is pretty weak. And Tampa has questions, right? I think they can challenge and challenge for the NFC South title. But, going into it, can they start on the right foot, right? Openers for the team, mixed bag. They've had years where they've gone in and they've lost every single opener. There's times they've gone in and they look really good. So, last year was a prime example with the way they came out, against Green Bay and Jacksonville. And again, nobody was going to take that game away from the Saints, given everything that they went through for Hurricane Ida and such. But, again, that's the first question is how does this team look in week one? You got Jameis Winston, Alvin Kamara. You're supposed to have Michael Thomas, Jarvis Landry. Everything that you've seen offensively, everybody that's supposed to be there is going to be there in week one, right? And I think that's the biggest thing is, offensively, how does Pete Carmichael handle things? I think one really good game out of him, then you start to say, okay, no big deal. This is what we believe that, when he said this is going to be the same type of offense that they've ran for the past 16 years. That's the types of things that you want to see. On the other hand, defensively, how do they look? What is the pressure look like? There's no Matt Ryan back there for Cam Jordan to sack, but what kind of pressure can they mount on Marcus Mariota? How can they affect things, in the passing game? Run game, I think, is going to be pretty strong. Cordero Patterson is a weapon. He had some real good success against them in the home game last year that led to the Saints losing. So how do they handle that type of X factor, if you will? And, what does it look like as far as the defensive lineup goes? Because the big question is who plays in the slot. Now, I think the Saints could play more of a 4-3 here. They could have Caden Ellis working alongside Demario Davis, and then that other one would presumably be Pete Warner or, Eric Wilson if they call him up from the practice squad. But, it's not necessarily set in stone that they're going to play all slot nickel against the Falcons, right? But obviously not having C.J. Gardner-Johnson there is a question mark in itself. But, look, could be PJ Williams. They could put Tyrann Mathieu there. They could put Alontae Taylor there if they need to. Or, in a perfect world, Paulson Adebo's healthy, Marshawn Lattimore's healthy. They'll roll Bradley Roby over there. So I think that's just one of those things you just want to see it come to fruition and obviously see how it goes. And then, it's a season opener. Atlanta, their crowd attendance is not always the best. It is a season opener. This is a rivalry game. Saints fans really travel well for these. So kind of the crowd mix, right? I think it could be 50-50 easily. And, it'll be one of those that, you look at bragging rights and all this stuff, and the season's not going to be decided in week one, but it's against the Falcons. It's the Falcons. Everybody knows what the Falcons are, and it's Falcons hate week for a lot of fans and such. But, again, there's a lot to pay attention to in this matchup, and you just want to see the Saints come out for all intents and purposes and play gangbusters. You don't want to see them lingering in. I think this is a game where they come in and be pretty dominant and get the early win. And, most attention is going to go to that week 2 matchup against the Bucs at home. So, look, I expect a lot more to develop as the week goes on. We'll have a lot more analysis, but that's just some quick thoughts on some things that we're looking forward to in week 1. Again, we've talked about the health. Be sure you check out the video on Boot Crew Media about the player health and kind of the updates there, because the team is coming in there pretty healthy. So, as always, thanks to Royal Honda for producing today's show. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. See more of the Saints content. And guys, appreciate it as always. I'm John Hendricks for Boot Crew Media, signing out.